Remember Kids in the Hall? Well, the members of that Canadian comedy troupe continue to be creative. Bruce McCulloch is in our city with his new stage show, Young, Drunk and Punk. He spoke to On the Coast's Stephen Quinn.
Tell me about Calgary when you were growing up. What was it like growing up there?
Well, you know, I sort of make fun of Calgary a little bit, but it formed me to be the tough little guy that I am now. You know, it was you know, cowboys ran the town, but of course I was like one of the weird guys there, and me and my weird friends were there, and so you know the show is about me, but it's more I think about the idea of forming who you become, and the notion of, which I think you probably are, the Kids in the Hall are, all our fans are, is outsiders. So I think Calgary formed my thing that I was going to be something, but I had no idea what that was.
And did you know where that was going to be?
Well, you know, I thought when I was in Calgary, growing up there, that it was my job to move. You know, I was going to come to Vancouver, where the girls were easier, apparently, or go to Toronto, where there was more live music. No, but I thought I had to get out, and I realized that some of my, you know, and listen, a lot of my best friends, my lifelong best friends, Blake Brooker, who directs the show, has been in Calgary his whole life. So there's a lot of people there that I have found. And of course, feeling like an outsider when you're young is as much about you as it is about the other people around you.
How did you first start doing comedy, sketch comedy, or comedy of any kind? When was the first time you stepped on stage?
Well, you know, I was taking business at Mount Royal College, and I got 20%. And I remember I was kind of searching for, which is not good apparently, which was good for me. I thought, wow, that's not bad. And I remember I went to Loose Moose Theatre there, and in Calgary. And it was an improv comedy place. And I remember walking in and kind of feeling like, this could be the place that I put my weird energy. And from that day on, it was like I'd found my religion, and I just started.
And was the transition easy when you stepped up on the stage? I mean, did you have any idea what you wanted to do, or did you start off in a comedy troupe or doing dramatic stuff, or what did you do first?
Oh, it was all improv comedy, and at first, of course, it was more about like, look at me. I didn't realize what I wanted to say, you know. And then, of course, we started writing some stuff, and it's like, oh, the Daves I know, a list about the Daves I know. That seems funny to me, and other people think that's funny. So that was the first place I started the weird comedy conversation with the audience that I'm still loving.
And how you talk about yourself as an outsider and the fans of Kids in the Hall as outsiders. Why were Kids in the Hall fans outsiders?
Well, because we're all outsiders. We're all these weird people who come from, you know, weird parents and families, and, you know, goth girls and people who listen to weird music, and people who are kind of saying the world doesn't have to be the way you think it is. And of course, there's thousands of those people. But when we started, there was no internet. There was no way for people to find each other. So I think, you know, it was so interesting for me to start doing live shows after the Kids in the Hall started, and all these weird people felt the way we did.
And it was almost shorthand, the way fans of Kids in the Hall could talk to each other. And as you say, I mean, this is pre-YouTube. What would have happened if the Kids in the Hall had YouTube?
I don't know. Maybe we would have been more successful, or there would have been a better Kids in the Hall would have formed or something. You know, as my wife always says, everything we touch turns to cult. So I don't think we would have been much bigger no matter what. But, you know, I think we would have just found each other faster.
Tell me more about this performance, because it is, as I said, autobiographical, and it sort of starts off in Calgary. But what else do people see? How intense do you get?
Oh, well, it's a night of comedy. And, you know, actually my lifelong friend, Brian Connolly, who I've known since I was 13, and we grew up in Calgary, plays the cool Gretsch guitar with me. But it starts in Calgary, and it also kind of goes to the transition of me now as a middle-aged man with 2 children who sort of makes my living most of the time writing things in my pajamas. So it's really about this kind of young punk who's sort of grown up, and of course I'm still a punk in a sense.
What's it like to be touring a show, be going stage to stage, city to city?
Well, I kind of love it, you know, because I'm mostly in Hollywood now, you know, sort of part success story, part cautionary tale. And what I started doing is communicating with people, like saying something weird, and then they laugh and think about it, and then a laugh comes later. And it's exactly what I started doing. So it's really fun. I feel a little bit like Willie Loman waiting in my hotel room, you know, ironing my shirt with the iron in the hotel room and waiting to do my show. But it's pretty fun.